Imagine spending $75 million on a Broadway musical. Now imagine it becoming one of the most chaotic productions in theater history. This is the story of Time's Spider-Man, Turn Off the Dark. And honestly, if it had been written as a movie, nobody would believe it. When the show was announced, it sounded unstoppable. Spider-Man, Broadway, music by Bono and The Edge of U2. Directed by Julie Taymor, the visionary behind Time's The Lion King. What could possibly go wrong? Apparently, everything. Before the show even officially opened, disaster struck. Again, and again, and again. The production became infamous for technical failures and injuries. Actors flew through the air at speeds approaching 40 miles per hour using a complex system of cables and automated rigs. The technology frequently malfunctioned. Then came the accident that made national headlines. Stunt performer Christopher Tierney was performing a flying sequence when a safety harness failed. He plunged 30 feet into the orchestra pit. The fall fractured his skull, broke 4 ribs, and caused internal bleeding. Amazingly, he survived. But the accident became the defining image of the production. And he wasn't the only one. Another performer suffered a severe concussion after being struck backstage by a heavy rope. One actor had his leg crushed in a motorized trapdoor. Others suffered broken wrists, torn ligaments, and aerial collisions. At one point, it seemed like every few weeks brought another injury report. Meanwhile, the creative team was falling apart. Director Julie Taymor envisioned a dark, surreal story featuring an ancient spider goddess named Arachne. In her version, the goddess became obsessed with Spider-Man and wanted him to join her in the afterlife. Audiences were confused. Critics were baffled. Producers were panicking. The situation became so dire that the producers fired Julie Taymor. They barred her from the theater and hired a new writer to completely overhaul the show. Entire sections were rewritten. Characters disappeared. The bizarre spider goddess storyline was largely removed. The production essentially rebooted itself while audiences were already buying tickets. And yet, it still wasn't open. The show ran an astonishing 182 preview performances, the longest preview period in Broadway history. Most Broadway productions preview for a few weeks. Spider-Man spent months trying to figure out how not to break. When opening night finally arrived, the show had become the most expensive Broadway production ever mounted. Its budget ballooned to roughly $75 million, more than many Hollywood blockbuster films. Despite all the chaos, people bought tickets. Some came for Spider-Man. Others came simply to see what might go wrong. For a while, curiosity kept the production alive. But eventually, even Spider-Man couldn't save Spider-Man. The show reportedly cost more than $1 million every week just to operate. Ticket sales began to decline, the novelty faded, losses mounted. And insurance companies became increasingly concerned about the physical risks involved. On January 4th, 2014, the production finally closed. After years of headlines, accidents, rewrites, lawsuits, and controversy, investors reportedly lost roughly $60 million. Today, Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark Times remains one of Broadway's greatest cautionary tales. A show with incredible ambition, groundbreaking technology, unlimited potential, and just enough chaos to become a legend.